Колеги, продовжуємо робочий день.
We continue our working day. Now the floor is given to Colonel Andriy Lysenko, Ministry of Defense spokesman on ATO-related issues with information about the events in the ATO area during the last 24 hours. Welcome on stage. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Now the information about the events that happened in the ATO area during the last 24 hours and about the areas. The Lugansk area, the military actions were in front line, Ktohizbinka, Novozvanivka. The enemy used small arms and also mortars. It happened after sunset in Krymske and Novozvanovka. The occupants launched at our positions about 20 mortar mines. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in the Lugansk area, there were 10 enemy shellings, 3 with the use of heavy weapons. The Donetsk area. The main military actions were in the Avdiivka production area. There, the occupants delivered 2 long-term shellings. The enemy used heavy weapons, mortars and cannons. It happened during the second part of the day. 1 more shelling with the use of mortars was in Verkhnyatoretsk. In the part front line of Troitske, Novgorodske and the Donetsk airport, it was calm yesterday. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in the Donetsk area, there were 3 enemy shellings, including 2 with the use of heavy weapons. The Mariupol area, the military actions in the part of the front line, Pavlopil-Shirokina, now are carried out during the 24 hours, and the provocation started in Vodyane right after midnight and starting 9 a.m. until late at night. The enemy delivered heavy shellings with the use of heavy weapons. In the course of these aggressive actions, Vinogradne and Pishevik villages were partly damaged. In Vinogradne, 4 residential houses were damaged. Fortunately, no casualties among civilians. Also, militants opened fire at Gnutovo checkpoint. And at this time, there were no civilians. That's why there was no casualties. And also, the militants in Krasnogorovka used mortars, and Granitna Ukrainian forces repelled the attack of the militants at our positions. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in the Mariupol area, there were 43 enemy shellings, including 29 with the use of heavy weapons and 1 military clash. The overall number of mines launched by the militants exceeded 500. And on the whole, during the last 24 hours, in the result of the military actions, 1 Ukrainian serviceman was killed and 1 was wounded. It happened in Lebedinske in the course of enemy artillery shelling. We express our condolences to the relatives of the serviceman who was killed. In Toretsk, police officers confiscated illegal weapons. They confiscated 2 carabines, Simonov carabine, that were used by the militants in the course of seizure of local administration in spring 2014. The owner of the weapon is the resident who bought this weapon from one of the DPR group members. And in his residence, they found 30 cartridges of 7.62 millimeter of caliber. 1 more militant returned to Ukraine due to SBU program that is called They Wait for You Back Home. This is a former police officer from Lysychansk region of Lugansk Oblast, who in spring 2014 helped the militants of LPR to set checkpoints, and then he saw that they do illegal actions, and the man left the militants, and now he cooperates with Ukrainian law enforcers. The president of Ukraine signed the law that envisages to increase the expenditure for the defense and security of the state in 2016 for the sum of 7.1 billion hryvnias. The majority 6.3 billion hryvnias will be to increase the salaries of servicemen, law enforcers, and emergency service officers. They risk their lives daily to provide security to peaceful residents. That's why their work should be paid properly. This is all information. If you have questions or comments, please. Thank you. One comment about the situation in Mariupol area for the last 2 days of active actions of the militants. Do you have some information about some advance in this direction? And is there any increase in reinforcement from the side of Russian Federation? Do they provide more ammunition to the militants or fuel and lubricants to the militants? We see the activity of Russian occupation forces in Mariupol area. There are several artillery and mortar batteries. Also observed are reactive systems, multiple launch rockets, and they are close to the line, but they were not used. The reason of such activity is not known, but any information about that the militants advance is not true. Ukrainian positions are where they are. They hold positions, and also Marines are there. They assured everyone, and they proved that all the attacks would be repelled, and our line of defense is strong. So the observers of OSCE, are they present in this region? Do they record these shellings? If there are shellings, this is the threat to the OSCE member, threat to them, so they are not in the regions, they are not allowed to be there. If there are active military actions, they work only in the places where there is ceasefire, and they record facts. And also in the breaks, they record the number of shellings and the types of weapons that were used for shellings of our positions. Thank you, Colonel. Thank you, everyone. This is the end of press briefing and the renewed information about the events in the ATO area, traditionally tomorrow at 12:30. Thank you.